Welcome back to Kiesel News, everybody. To start today off, we have news that Max and Paramount Plus are thinking of merging into one singular streaming service. Now, I'm questioning why Paramount Plus would choose to merge with Max of all platforms when it could easily do something like Prime Video, because Paramount Plus is a channel on Prime Video anyway, so it would be way easier to implement. I also think another better option would be combining a whole bunch of more obscure streaming services into one platform, as opposed to one that's small and one that's big. Because there's enough shit on Max where people would buy Max on its own, as opposed to Paramount Plus, where a lot less people would. I mean, I have Paramount Plus, but Max obviously has a lot bigger shit, I would say. What does Paramount Plus have? Fucking Halo, Yellowstone, and that's about it. But my point is, like, you combine Paramount Plus, Peacock. Fucking, what if you put Tubi in there as well? I know Tubi is a lot bigger, but Tubi is more obscure. So you put Tubi, Peacock, Paramount Plus, maybe even throw Disney Plus in there, and boom, you have the fucking perfect streaming service. Next up, we have a very brief segment, being that Panasonic Japan has used stock images from another camera to advertise their new camera. Now, I can't find any other fucking source aside from Dexerto for this, for the life of me. I looked for like 5 minutes just scrolling down, and there's no other sources covering this whatsoever. If it's true, though, I mean, that's just fucking so hilarious, dude. I mean, who even uses Panasonic cameras, bro? I think most people that I know use Canons or fucking even Linux, I guess, but Canon seems to be where it's at. Panasonic, you really need to step up your game if you want to stay relevant, bro. It's not like this negative press will give them any more popularity either, as no other website's covering this, so no one cares. One thing I will say, though, is that this could have easily been avoided. Like, you could have just taken pictures, you know, and then just use them. It's not even a matter of stock images and having to have your own, like, or having to pay for stock images either. Like, you could have just taken some live pictures. I don't understand what's so hard about that. It's a camera, can it not fucking take pictures? Next up, we just have a cool story here, being that the world record internet speed has been achieved, which is 402 terabits. This would apparently allow you to download games like Baldur's Gate 3, Call of Duty Vanguard, Red Dead Redemption 2, all in fucking milliseconds. Now, don't ask me why I said Call of Duty Vanguard as an example. That's the example that the article I found said. I don't know why they care so much about Call of Duty Vanguard of all games. It's not even the newest Call of Duty, but anyways. If you're like me and you don't know how much 402 terabits usually is, it's apparently 1.5 million times faster than the average person's internet speed, so holy fuck. Imagine how many people you would have to kick off if you wanted to achieve this possible speed. Like, how many people combined it would take to achieve this speed, man. Holy shit. I don't really think that even if this became more widespread, it would be too revolutionary of a concept. I mean, just being able to download things faster wouldn't really help us that much in the long run. Like, unless you live in fucking 10,000 miles from Timbuktu, you probably have decent enough internet speed where the slowest you experience is having to wait like a day at most for a game to download, which at the end of the day isn't that bad. I mean, it makes you want to die in the moment, but first world problems. Still absolutely impressive, though. Quick little segment here. Team Fortress 2 is getting new content, being Funko Fusion DLC. Whoa, no way. I find this funny that this is coming out right as the fixed TF2 stuff is finally getting resolved. It's like Valve just suddenly woke up like, oh, looks like we have to fix the game. We might as well throw in a little DLC for Funko Fusion as well. But this is pretty cool to see, especially with Team Fortress 2 being a game as old as it is. It's nice to see that it's still relevant in some companies' eyes to the point where they're willing to put it in a game. Now we just need TF2 and Fortnite and Fall Guys. Maybe this will move Funko Fusion up a little bit on my Summer Game Fest games tier list. I had it at A tier originally, I think, but might be S tier now. Next up, we have Nintendo pulling yet another W, saying that they don't plan to use generative AI for any of their games in the future. And this is very reassuring, especially with all the other companies being so open, at least a lot of their publishers. Like, look at Naughty Dog, for example. They were just huge advocates for AI, to the point where the quote had to be basically buried that Neil said, where he stood up for AI and said how they plan to use it. So I'm just super glad that Nintendo isn't going to use it, and they state that the reason why is because it has issues with IP rights, and they want to deliver stuff that is unique to them and cannot be created with a simple AI. This is just great news, and it also leaves open the possibility for them to still use AI, but just for other purposes that aren't for generating ideas or concepts, such as using it to speed up game development time. Like, I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with game companies, for example, using AI to, like, maybe touch up some textures or shit like that, if they want to speed up game development that way. But as long as they're not using it to generate ideas or concepts, I think we're fine. With Nintendo also taking the time to mention the thing about IP rights, I can definitely see them taking very heavy action against any AI Nintendo-related shit that comes out, so that's good as well. I'm surprised that they didn't instantly take down all those Mario AI videos that were going around. You know, the ones that people were like, oh, this is cinema, this is the future, even though it was literally just like a 1-minute video of Dr. Mario or some shit. No, instead they were hellbent on taking down the shit in Gary's mod and taking down videos that have their music in them when they refuse to upload their music to Spotify. But I digress, okay? I just had to throw in a little shade to Nintendo because I've been way too positive with them lately. I'm gonna get called a shill at some point. The live-action Watch Dogs movie is now filming, so we knew that it was in development, like, what, a couple months ago, and now it's filming? That's a very quick turnaround time, holy shit. Now, I'm still so surprised that we're getting a Watch Dogs movie before a GTA movie. I know Rockstar just came out and said that they were against the idea of a GTA movie, and that's why we haven't got one after all these years. There's certainly been people offering it, but there was no doubt about that. Obviously, people have been looking for a GTA movie, but no, we got a Watch Dogs one instead. Now, I've never played Watch Dogs personally, but I have a feeling that the series, that the movie will be good, as it's set in the same universe as the games, and any adaptation that's set in the same universe, such as Fallout as a recent example, seems to do better than ones like Halo, where it's just in its entirely own continuity. The only example I can think of is The Last of Us, where it being in its own continuity actually kind of worked in its favor. But even then, people wouldn't say no to an original story in the Last of Us universe being told through TV, so that's still a viable option for them to go, and a viable option for all future video game adaptations to take. Next up, I'd just like to quickly address Sean Levi saying that Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be more similar to earlier MCU films since the character stakes are more important than the global MCU stakes. And I don't know how to feel about this, man. Like, I'm glad that this means that we're going to be getting a character-focused story for Wolverine and Deadpool, as the Deadpool movies have always been focused on Deadpool, not the cameos. But the MCU is in need of a movie that ties everything together. And with Deadpool 3 dealing with the multiverse, it was the perfect one to have all these cameos and to deal with the multiverse and tie everything together. So I don't know how to feel about this movie now potentially not doing that. And I know that if there's not a lot of cameos, Marvel fans are going to be pissed. Next up, quick little tidbit, a LEGO Jaws set is releasing on August 1st, and it'll be $160. And now, they actually released a little LEGO Jaws short on the LEGO YouTube channel. It was only a minute and a half long. The movie Twitter accounts have been hyping it up way too much. It's only a minute and a half. But it is cool to see something from Jaws in the year 2024. Also, as to comment on the price point, I'd have to say it's pretty fucking good. Like, that's 1,500 pieces for like $160. That doesn't seem like it's very good, but when you compare it to recent sets, like there was the LEGO Death Star set or the recent Ninjago City Market set that was like 4,000 pieces for $600. This is a great deal. Next up, I'd like to briefly talk about the Elden Ring drama that has been going around. Now, despite Elden Ring's new DLC selling like absolute hotcakes, that doesn't mean that it's completely been universally well received, and that's to be expected. The main criticism that I've seen is regarding the difficulty of the game, with a lot of people saying that it's way too hard. And my thoughts on this are that I do think that difficulty settings should be an option to some extent, but like a game shouldn't be too easy as well, you know? An easy solution to this is just having like set requirements for certain speedruns and shit. So if you ever took a game professional, then you would have to play it on a certain difficulty to make it fair for everyone, and stuff like that is implemented on the professional gaming scene, so they deal with it good there. But as for personal use, yeah, I think having an easy difficulty is fine, or difficulty settings, because anyone should be able to enjoy the narrative of a game, I feel. So especially for a game like Elden Ring that has a lot of lore, if people just want to enjoy the lore, they should be able to tone down on the difficulty a bit. It's like me with Persona. Like, I'm fucking terrible at video games, even RPGs, but I really enjoy the Persona story more so than the gameplay, just because I suck at it. So I purposely put Persona on the easiest difficulty, just so I can get through the story faster. There's a lady, though, who all she is asking for isn't even an easier difficulty setting. All she's asking for is a pause button in Elden Ring, and I think that is entirely reasonable. She states that the reason why she wants the pause button is because she has kids, and for example, if she was in the middle of a game session and one of her kids drank Tide Pods or some shit, she'd have to pause the game to go save them, but she could lose all her progress and die. And I don't understand why everyone doesn't agree with this, that there should be a pause button. It's not harming the game in any way, or not even really adding any additional difficulty. It's just adding additional annoyance. The only added difficulty you would get from not having a pause button is that you would, like you say, lose all your progress if you died when you weren't looking or something. And that just, in my opinion, is the kind of difficulty that is just annoying and not difficult. Like, when I want a good difficulty, I want a fun challenge, not something that's just going to piss me off to no end, like having to restart my entire save file, essentially. To end today off on the absolutely biggest news possible, Pizza Hut Japan is releasing a grilled cheese ramen. Whoa, no way, holy shit, holy fuck. Seriously though, grilled cheese? That's kind of surprising. Like, when you think of Japan, you don't think of grilled cheese as a Japanese food, I would think. I think you think of it as like a standard American food, so it is interesting to see them go down that route.